episode 165 of New Meta Podcast. We're back at it. Plenty to discuss. Shadow Fiend games. Stat Corner is back. Long-awaited return. Long overdue return of Stat Corner. And we might even have some personal theories to throw around as well. Marco, welcome to the pod. How are you doing?
Very good.
Very good.
Very good.
Very green.
Very green.
Yeah. Do you want to just chuck it out there? Why are you feeling so good? Why are you feeling so green?
So, I mean, it's not as phenomenal as last week. I've only played twice since last pod. We summoned the Wraith King, Sweat. We like to say that Wraith King wins pubs. I think in party, when the rest of the party is doing good work, it's a reliable one. I feel like sometimes Wraith King's a hard one to 1v5 solo, but it's one where if there's good activity in the rest of the team, you just join in the snowball. It's pretty nice. So 2 Wraith King games. I think the streak is 14. We are 1 away from completing DotA buff, which equates to a full green page on DotA buff. I'm also joint longest winning streak record. So my last record was 14, May 2019. 2.5 years later, 1 game away from ousting that record, which, remind the listeners, was the Mars glory days. So this next game, I mean, we sweated these last 2 games. I made sure everyone signed an NDA with sweat. You must focus beyond the grave to win, and I have to commend the party mates we had. Everyone put everything into those games, so thanks for that. This next one is going to be... gonna have to think about this next one.
Yeah, we just played 2 games before the pod, one with me, Marco, and friend of the pod Dynamic, and then another one that we had a 5-stack. Adam was involved, and yeah, we were on high alert. It was DEFCON 5 or whatever the highest DEFCON is, you know. It was like, this was beyond ranked. This was...
yeah, it fucking was. Oh my god. 55 minutes against Tinker AM. AM's 14-2, getting big, getting scary.
Yeah.
Oof.
That was the best. That was like a great win feeling. That was the first. That was the best I felt like winning a game. Just to, like, you know, when the throne dies and it was like, yeah, let's go. It's
yeah.
Like, good hype. Yeah.
You had to graph for that win.
Yeah, it was a tough one. Also,
exciting.
I played Pugner, which is, you know, I like that. Pugner's probably, as I said, I think a couple of weeks ago, Pugner might be my favourite hero to play. So that was a lot of fun.
Blowing up heroes.
Yeah, blow up some heroes, save some heroes.
Decret. You did a really cool heal save on the Dazzle. One time there's a Tinker throwing rockets, Dazzle's about 100 HP. The Pugner life drain kept him alive.
That was
cool plays.
Yeah, that was fun, but that's like... that play specifically is so easy. Like, if I hadn't done that, that would have been such a grief. That's just forgetting what your spell does.
Yeah.
There are some things in Dota that people think are cool, but they're so easy. The one that triggers me the most is PL. When he doppelgangers, then micros 1 illusion away and like baits. It's like, oh, congratulations, you bound your tanky illusion to a hotkey. Like, you want a medal? And the casters are like losing their minds. Sorry, I just went off on a tangent about hating PL. But anyway,
overrated plays. That'll be a good podcast. What's the most overrated and underrated plays?
Yeah, that would be an interesting one. Maybe next week. I've already given away my answer, I suppose, for most overrated players. PL Micro. Anyway, Adam, welcome to the pod. You haven't got 13 or 14 wins in a row, but how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't know what shade of green I am.
Pretty green on the Marcy hero, particularly. Pretty green.
Yeah, 10 and 5 on the Dota buff front page. So not 14 and 1, but still, it's pretty. I'll take it.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. I mean, I don't really feel like we've got many orders of business. We're waiting for a patch that's never going to come, the same as last week. So I guess we just fly into games. We already heard about Marco's 1 game. Is there anything else you want to add to this Tinker, or indeed the next game? Why is Wraith King so good at winning games? Because it is like a new meta approved hero, right? We always are yabbing on about how Wraith King's so good. I don't know if you want to elaborate on what you were talking about before.
Yeah, new meta approved for the pubs.
Yeah.
That's for sure. The laning is really nice that you've got kill potential with the stun and right clicks. If you've got a stick, you can turn fights so well. I think stick is imperative. So usually you can get a couple kills in the lane. That gets you off to a nice start. Back in the day, obviously, you used to have these Midas raidy plays. Nowadays, it's all about Armlet, Dezo, Blink, and again, that tempo.
Yeah.
Games go late these days, but we've said it before. If you're playing a POS 1 that can get involved in that 15, well, maybe not 15, but at that 20-minute mark, and at the 20-minute mark, you really should have Armlet Dezo, if not 17, which is what I got. That is such a power spike that you can then snowball those mid-game fights, and like we did in both games, the first and second, snowball those tier 2s, squeeze the map, really make it hard for the enemy to farm. You probably get more gold than you realise by getting these towers one after another. And then you're choking off the jungle, you're choking off the ancient camps, because you've got these two really strong items, and that progression is really nice, particularly for party games when you can coordinate movements around the map. Maybe as an AFK POS 1, it's easier to do that with someone else, but I do think optimally you would like to have a one that gets in the mix a bit. And there's presence in the mid, and then in the early and in the mid game. The late game Wraith King does get a bit awkward, like that anti-mage 1v1. He's got so much armor, and I was never winning a right-click fight, but then it was weird because the last anti-mage death, I think maybe the Dazzle stacked up a lot of Jingu, and then Tide had Gush with Ags. So I think he must have had a crazy amount of minus armor, because then I suddenly did a lot of damage. But naturally, high agi, high armor, I feel like the Wraith King late game can struggle a bit. But ideally, you've kind of crushed the game by 30, and you're happy to end at 35.
I love having a carry hero that is naturally tanky and naturally baits opponents because of reincarnation, which from a pub perspective is amazing, because people are so bad at playing against reincarnation. And then also has Blink stun. Yeah. Because Blink stun is also insane in pubs. I mean, it's just insane in Dota having a Blink stun, but especially when you've got this Armlet Deso build, you blow people up. It's so much stronger than going Raidy Blink back in the day, because the Raidy obviously just functions differently to Armlet Deso. You don't do as much right-click damage, it's more damage AoE and all this stuff. It just works differently, but I really like the Wraith King a lot.
I think Wraith King synergizes with my mentality really well, because like you say, it's a hero that you want to soak and pull heroes out of position, and the hyper-aggression of a Wraith King blinking in or running at you, making fights happen because of Blink. Enemy team is always... they're not reacting optimally. They'll get drawn into a fight, or they'll be caught out by the phase Blink initiation. And then in party, having able to calm everyone to then link up to the fight. I mean, I feel like in the last game we stomped it 30 minutes. I feel like there was 3 or 4 occasions where I force into a fight or bait them onto me. They try and jump me, and then it's like, alright, rotate. They've thrown everything, and it's a clean-up game from there. Yeah. But it's quite hard to play against that if you've got a Wraith King that's really aggressive on the map, jumping into fights or pushing the boundary of the hero. It's easy for the enemy to go, surely we should do something, or we should react, or... I mean, I feel like they get baited very easily in party.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So Wraith King's got the seal of approval, for sure.
Yeah.
Adam, how have your games been going? How have your green games been going?
That's good. I don't think I got a chance to talk about Marcy Adventures last week.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm 11-2 on Marcy.
Marcy Specialist.
Yeah, Marcy Specialist. I think it's truly Marcy Special. I'm very proud of the record, because you'd think, this guy's just some, overpowered hero spammer, just being a core, taking all the, just really abusing the hero. And it's like, no. This is... Sure, sometimes there's a 3 Marcy mixed in there, but this is a streak in which only 1 out of the 13 games have I had more kills than deaths. And my GPM record on the hero is 450. So this is good old-fashioned brawling 3/4 position DotA. And yeah, so I love disposing people, throwing them back to the tune of an 85% win rate. And I don't know, I'm not like Marco. I don't want to have those 19-0 and 20 games of give me this last game. Give me this 1-5-29 record. That's what I want to see. And then when I played 4 Weaver, give me this 1-8-29. Give me all the assists.
It's funny that you love the assists, because I know that I whined in one of the games being like, fuck's sake, I got no kills and 3 assists. I want the kills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't relate.
I'm tallying them up. I'm looking at the Dota buff page. I had another 4 Weaver game. I was 6, 7, and 30. That's... Bugs are strong.
Yeah, bugs are strong.
Yeah, I think Marcy's pretty great. I like when I do play her as a 3, I feel like I come out ahead of the lane pretty well. Like a lane bully type of a deal. I come out ahead on CS, and when I play it as a 4, I think we just giga stomp lanes. Just absolutely destroy lanes. And that's what happened in this last game we played. Because they played the 1 position Shadow Fiend, which I'm sure we'll get into talking about this episode, but it was 3 Axe mixed with 4 Marcy, level 2, jump on a creep, toss somebody back, they just get W'd by Axe, and then it's basically over for a Shadow Fiend. And at 10 minutes, our Axe had 5k net worth, and their Shadow Fiend had 2k net worth. He was 8th in net worth, I think. I was 9th, but it was the same amount. We both had 2k. So,
yeah,
I like
that's nutty. What makes Marcy so good as a 4, in your opinion? Is it just the fact that the spells in isolation are so strong?
I just think the level 2 combo is insane. I mean, the level 1 combo, I say that as it's just one spell, but nobody appreciates the fact that you just straight up walk into them, throw them back into your creeps. They start taking a bunch of damage from creeps. You have Orb of Venom, you're smacking them, and then presumably your 3, is helping with something. Like in this case, it was an Axe. I'm still undefeated on the Treant Marcy combo. Doesn't matter if it's 3 Tree, 4 Marcy, or vice versa. That combo is insane because you just toss back into the Treant queue and they just can't leave. They just die to right clicks. Yeah, but it's just the sheer repositioning of that spell at level 1 is crazy. And then level 2, you're jumping off of you're out of vision and you're jumping off out of crazy angle and slowing them, and then you just throw them back into the creeps. People can't, they just can't, heroes don't tank creeps at level 1 and level 2. And then you just get ahead and it kind of just snowballs from there.
Yeah. Hero doesn't farm, but you're not farming.
No, it doesn't farm. I think that's why I like it 4. It really doesn't farm. And if you look at my 3 position games, I basically top out at Armlet BKB. We're Armlet BKB Basher. One game I got a MKB before BKB just as a meme. That was because we were against a PA. And in the one game where I have more kills than deaths, I have Armlet BKB Basher. It's like a 36-minute game. I get the Basher at 26, but that's where the item progression stops.
To add some numbers to the suplex, so it's a 175 cast range, then 350 behind you, so that's a 525 units displacement. It's hard to appreciate when you just think, oh, they land a little bit behind you, but adding in the grab ahead of you, 500 units is
500
so
units
many.
of displacement.
like where the enemy hero starts and ends.
Wow, that's crazy. Because
And I'm not
is
sure
600.
I'm not sure how the Aether Lens, if it gets doubled or not. I'm trying to think.
Probably not.
Oh, it won't
But
double.
it's-
It'll just double the cast range, so that'll be 350 plus a 350 landing, so that'll be 700.
And then I had the
Did you have a Keen Optic?
Keen Optic
775.
75, yeah.
That's such a grab. Such a grab.
That's so far. 4-star 600, and this is with no items 550, did you say? That's kind of insane, yeah.
And it's guaranteed. It doesn't matter where they're facing, and it's just a click. You can't get it wrong.
So it's 850? Is that what we said with Aether Lens plus Keen Optic?
775.
Okay, so that's it's basically like it almost feels Pudge Hook-esque
Yeah.
in a way. Or like a Bat Rider lasso, but you're not like tethered. You're still able to participate with other things, and this is without saying the fact that your initiation range is even more than that because you're using a W, right?
Yeah.
Like you're jumping all over the place to get into position to take them out of position. And it's kind of fun to play with a Wraith King because there's always a skeleton to jump off of.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, there's sometimes where you're like, you want to keep pushing the pace. Like, I got another jump, I want to go. And it's like, oh, there's no one around. I can't really... You kind of can get stuck in no man's land. But with a skeleton, hopefully they're always chasing.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what happens to Marcy if there was another patch coming up. I don't know if Marcy would go in CM. Maybe. Probably.
No,
That'll
she needs
obviously-
the Ag Shard and Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah. Maybe it all comes in one go. That'll be interesting.
Maybe the Ag Scepter will, like, have a farming component. Like, she can't farm, so she needs... I don't know, she needs something. If you want to be able to take her into a later stage of the game without requiring you to snowball.
Yeah. In terms of my games, again, with my broken toe, I've been playing a lot of DotA because I haven't been able to do much else. And also 'cause it's winter. Did I play... I can't remember what I've done. It's the 9th today. I'm trying to work out what I've done since last ep, but I got 3 Viper wins in a row in ranked the other day, which was very nice. Viper, too good. And then followed that up with 2 ranked losses on TA and Void Spirit. Void Spirit, totally deserved loss. I can't play Void Spirit unless it's unranked, and then my Void Spirit pops off, and then in ranked, my Void Spirit's useless. Feels like one of those heroes that if you don't snowball, you can struggle, or at least I definitely struggle. I feel like I often have games on Void Spirit where I feel like I need to be everywhere because I'm a Void Spirit. Then you don't farm, and then when your rotations don't work, you just fall behind, and sometimes you get ganked and just have some terrible games. And the TA game was very, very unfortunate, very mentally fragile team, which is unfortunate.
On Void Spirit, I had a game where I know what you mean. Try and rotate too much and it doesn't work. And so I was playing in this kind of lower average game, and it went late. It took 43 minutes to win, but I feel like I've accepted now that Void Spirit it's like a late game tempo hero that because of the Kaya and the spell lamp and the shard and everything, that your magic damage scales really well, better than a lot of other spellcasters. And so I now view the hero as I'm actually just AFK farming unless there's a painfully obvious rotation. I'm just going to get big, I'm going to split push, I'm going to boost the travel, going to shove, create space that way, and become this monster damage dealer late game. And I feel like I've done it a couple times to strong success of, don't die, opportunities arise, farm, don't try and force it. And
definitely. No, he's
What's
definitely a
interesting-
farming hero, for sure.
Interesting with our, try hard 5-man game where I felt like we said try hard and then like the comms were super on point. We're rotating all over the map. It's fast and we're playing so fast and I'm thinking like, oh no, like our, Wraith King's not going to farm. And I said at one point, yeah, gotta make sure we hit some creeps too. And then I look at you're basically already at Phase Booth's armlet deso. And then the blink comes like right after that. And it's like, oh, we're actually just playing the game correctly. Like we're super far ahead in farm and we're being active. And I don't think that happens very often.
It's hard to coordinate. I agree to get the balance right. I feel like pubs, it's either you go hyper aggression, 5-man mid, slaughterfest, no farm, or it's this snooze fest, no fighting, all farm. But then 5-stack, when you can comms, it's sweeping around the map, farming, fighting, choking areas, and that's why 5-stack comms is a dream. Just the fluidity of the team was so on point.
Yeah. That's why it's nice when I play Witch Doctor in a game like that, because I can just forget about farming and just be like running around, doing some warding, just chilling out, throwing some casks, don't need to worry about hitting creeps. Or Pugner as well, where I just never hit a neutral creep the entire game, just blast waves and then run into high ground areas and just try and cause trouble.
There was some good ward in that game, to be fair. I do remember there being a few times of the wards give us amazing vision of, even if it's just one hero, like the Tusk wasn't there, and it's such an instrumental hero for the enemy, this Pos 3 Tusk, meaning, alright, if we go now, they are significantly weaker, because they're missing Tusk. Or there was another time where it was like 2-3 heroes being revealed through some interesting deep ward, and that information is then like, alright, we can go in this area, or take this gank or something. So,
even that if your wards are so good on the enemy side of the map on one side, and you don't see them, you're like, okay, well, you know where they are, right?
Yeah.
We were in the ancient area, we had that full triangle, we're pushing mid, bottom's pushing, we're like, okay, they're in the dire jungle, all of them. Like, they can't, they're not in our side of the map, so that's the only place they can be.
A comment.
I was going to say on the warding, for a relatively high MMR game, for me at least, their warding was remarkably bad. I got about 5 D-wards in that game on, the eye spots. They literally just put an obs ward on an eye spot, and it's like, oh, thanks very much. I feel like you don't see that too often in ranked.
Well, we also have Zeus.
And, of course, Zeus.
But honestly, that should mean their wards should be even more, like, they should be in different places, right? Because, the Zeus is going to hit those areas. Another thing is that we won 50-17, right? Our 50 kills come off of 102 assists. Their 17 kills come off of 24 assists. I don't know, like,
wow.
We're like super involved.
Yeah, post laning we were flying.
An interesting macro comment I have. So there was one point in the game where I think we were interested in the tier 2. We had heroes near enemies mid tier 2. We had kind of that ramp near the Ancients, and I think we thought they had some enemy heroes near the mid tier 2 as well. And I feel like this scenario has happened in millions of pubs where you're ahead, you're advanced on the map, you see enemy heroes and want to kill them, and ignore the fact that they're in this advantageous near a tower, a tier 2 tower, the mid tier 2 tower. It's like the worst place to possibly dive or try and fight. And I feel like we so wanted to just jump them and take a fight, and then in reality, if that happened, best case scenario, you get these couple kills and get out alive, fine, but you don't convert it into anything because the creeps aren't near, you'll lose so much resource, spawn times are so low, it's not worth it. Normal scenario is you try and take a dive, maybe trade, that's bad because you're ahead, or often you'll just kind of wipe or lose heroes and they win a trade. Instead, what we did, the invade the woods play. So my point is, I feel like the invade the enemy woods when you're ahead and when you've got numbers to work with often doesn't happen because you see the enemy woods and it's blank, it's black, there's no vision because you've not operated there. And I feel like that often disincentivizes you from going because it's like, oh, well, we don't have vision, we have vision elsewhere, you might see a hero and kind of want to go to them. But actually, I feel like our play of invading the enemy wood, we soak up so much farm, we make them leave that area, push them away, we connect then to the other lane on the side of the map, which you can then push out, and then we kind of build this fortress inside the enemy woods, and then it rotates into this top tier 2 siege that we get with ease. And that macro play of squeezing the map, taking farm, kind of putting your flag in the ground rather than just, we can kill heroes because we're strong, but let's dive and do it. I felt like that was really, really good for our tempo and really good for our hold on the game. I think a lot of pubs, and probably our own party games, will have done that jump mid, taken a skirmish, maybe it's even, that's worse for us. We really choked the game really nicely. I really liked it.
Yeah, it's like we have the vision of Dire Ancient Triangle. Bottom lane's pushing. Sure, Dire, other side of the jungle. Top jungle is like dark. You know that's the only area you can be. You're already ahead. Why not choke them out of the last resource they have?
An interesting point just before I wrap up my games, a more macro point, and you touched on it with Void Spear actually, Marco. I've been buying a lot more travels in general, and I think games going longer, pubs being classic sort of choke throw fests, I think travels is possibly really underbought and underutilized. And in general, I think we all agree that you probably want to angle your heroes more towards the farm and just getting golden XP and scaling, as opposed to trying to rely on, monkey business Dota that maybe pros could execute, but you with 5 random people won't be able to. And so heroes like Viper, I've won tons of Viper games in a row now, and my new build is travels, rush travels, first item, and then usually go Maelstrom Dragonlance, sometimes just Dragonlance, and then onwards from there Mjolnir. But that travels is so huge. I had it also on a puck recently. I think another Void Spirit perhaps, or I'm not sure I think I went Naked Yules on the Void Spirit actually. But yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to the travels for the sort of macro reasons why the value of a travels is, I think, worth the greed, if you know what I mean. Because I think especially on Viper, just as an example that's most fresh in my mind, like the ability to basically, if I see what time did I get travels in this game, let's see, so pick up a travels at like 9 minutes, and then from then onwards, your big mid hero that's like just pure aids to deal with can be anywhere, can connect onto ganks, and then you can, in a funny sort of way, because you've now got the ability to skirmish anywhere, you can farm, which sounds counterintuitive, but in my games I'm just farming creeps, and then if something does happen, I can get there because I've got travels really easily, no matter where it is. Whereas in a game when you've got treads, you've actually got to be thinking and preemptively moving towards sort of danger areas, and then your farm suffers. So it's not even necessarily the movement speed from camp to camp and like TPing out and around to farm. It's more just like this insurance mobility that allows you to split push massively and farm enemy jungle or do whatever you want, knowing that even if your TP's on cooldown, it's never going to be on cooldown for more than like, I'm never waiting more than 10 seconds to like get somewhere where I need to be. So
think about the rebates on your TPs too, the coupons.
Yeah, that's true. 100 gold.
Yeah.
If you do end up buying them, I mean, of course, you can always just plan the die and get your TP that way. But
I think boots of travel is a really interesting mini topic of discussion. So a baseless comment I have is, I feel like there was this time, Dota 1 days, even early Dota 2 perhaps, that boots of travel used to be this very mid-popular tempo, I'm going to carry the game with this global mobility presence playstyle. And then I feel like this hero had a trend of never really being around, because now in the last, say, year, I feel like it's a lot more common, or even last 6 months, like these mids, like a Viper picking it up, or a Void Spirit no longer getting a phase boost for the damage and speed, but brown boots for ages, then a 20-minute boots of travel, or like a puck keeping brown boots for ages, then a boots of travel. I feel like it's now back in fashion a bit more. I feel like maybe, these longer games when you can split push and you have to just take it later, perhaps less monkey business going on. means, yeah, the more naturally longer game, Boots of Travel's more advantageous. Maybe also teams are so responsive these days. Maybe like that.
It's also a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way,
so
because
you can connect.
Especially on a hero like Viper, because you've got travels, you can go and alleviate pressure, so it almost makes the game go longer. It doesn't really make... Thinking about it, it sounds odd, because if you want the game to go longer, you'd get an earlier game item, right, like treads, so you can fight more, and you're not going to get punished for the travels. But when you're a hero that's strong early, i.e. a mid hero that's got lots of XP, like travels is super good. You know, you wouldn't necessarily recommend it on a 1 or a 3, but on some tempo mid, that's where the item is, you know, mega strong.
Yeah,
you could justify it on any mid. I mean, literally, Lena buys it every game now. Void Spirit, you mentioned it; it's very common. Even something like Invoker, a very AFK mid, travels is very common on Invoker. It's only heroes. The only heroes that don't buy it from mid, or you would never see buy it, is like some Storm or some OD or something. I guess TA always for the treads, but it's very common.
Yeah,
it feels nice.
It feels really good. I think also probably that TP cooldown aspect is a big one. I don't know when that improved, but it's probably years ago. But how TP on Boots of Travel's shorter cooldown than a TP scroll.
I mean, that's the biggest. That is the biggest part of the item, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, nowadays, yeah.
The move speed too.
That didn't used to always be the case.
You get to be so much more active with the low cooldown.
Yeah, for sure. TP's been nerfed as well, very costly now, and the cooldown's higher. Didn't they increase the cooldown by 5 seconds and double the cost recently? It used to be 50, now it's 100, or 90 or something. And also it used to be 75 CD, now it's 80. I believe those are recent changes. So I guess that just in fact, I remember talking about it on the pod. I was talking about how it's an indirect buff to travels. So I think PSA travel stocks are rising. Or just unappreciatedly high in any case. Let's do a cheeky stat corner. A lesser spotted
Wait, you gotta
stat.
shout out your... You didn't get to talk about your Medusa game. Just your 900 GPM Medusa game. Just the stands carry corner.
Oh, stands carry corner. Oh,
I don't know if Marco knows about that game.
Don't think so.
Stand carry him. Had a 900 GPM Medusa mid. That was fun.
18-1-10.
Ori Snorri.
I channeled my inner Ori Snorri. The team sort of won the game, and I was just AFK Medusa, versus bots. What GPM can I get? So I don't really feel like I should take much credit for that.
I mean, you say that, but you also have 70,000 damage dealt. So
yeah, I did deal a lot of damage. To be
it's
fair.
A 900 GPM, 980 XPM.
Well, no, but the bigger game that Marco didn't see was my Sven.
Oh, yeah, what was
Do you not remember
Sven?
my Sven?
I do remember your Sven, but I don't remember who I played.
I had an unbelievable Sven.
No deaths.
Was I a Marcy?
No, you were Viper.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was trying to remember. I knew you had 2 Giga Carry performances.
Yeah. I actually have had... That reminds me, I've had 2 Giga Carries this week. That Sven game was actually world class.
Yeah, that's a 15-0-14... 520 last hits in 38 minutes.
Wow.
930 GPM.
Full Chad.
Full 6 slot with Moon Shard and Ag Shard eaten.
Yeah.
Wowza.
That was like the dream of all dream carry games. Like good lane. I mean, obviously, because the game has to be perfect for you to get stats like that, but I was sitting there, it wasn't even 30 minutes, it was like 28 minutes in, and I was like 6 slotted, and I was like, I don't know what to do anymore. just queue a Moon Shard like 29 minutes in. It also with Sven, when you've got Echo Saber Daedalus, and enemies have got, there's an enemy Earth Spirit of Urn and nothing else, you just blink, one-shot them with Echo Saber, and then walk away. I'd forgotten about that. That was the most fun game I've had for a while, in terms of just being... It's one of those rare games where... Yeah, I could literally 1v5. At the end, it's just I'm running in with BKB, and the team's not here, and it doesn't matter because you're just a Sven that literally just crits heroes with cleave. Yeah.
I just realized you made the jug sell all of his items that game, in the post game, he's got no items, an Ag Shard buff, and a spider leg, and that's it.
Yeah, sad. He was sad.
When do you get Blink on Sven? So, because I can't see on DotA, so it goes Power Treads, somehow 11 minutes, so I guess what, Mask of Madness?
Well, I went Midas first item.
Oh, you went Midas, but then sold it at some point.
Oh yeah, I got 8-minute Midas, and then
Power Treads, 13-minute Echo, 18-minute BKB,
then Blink,
after BKB,
19-minute Blink, 23-minute SMY, and then 26-minute Daedalus, 32-minute Overwhelming Blink, and then Moonshard and Agshard at 35.
And
so yeah,
did you get Aegis?
I got Aegis at 26 along with the Daedalus. So I mean, that really is at 26 minutes into the game. Like, that's not even late in the game. That's like mid game, and you're sitting there with like Daedalus, SMY, Blink, Echo, BKB, Treads. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it's just too much. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, POS 1. Like to see a bit of POS 1 cheering going on.
Yeah, Stan's a safe laner, whether it's 5 position or carry.
Yeah.
I'm a safe laner or I'm a Viper. That's the two things I am. Stat Corner, though, I'm going to surprise you. There's been no briefing. There's been no secretly filmed practice briefing here. There's just been we're going in blind. So try not to like blurt anything else that might get you fired, or Anyway, Adam's clueless to that reference. But
I was going to say like 10% of listeners get it.
Yeah, that's a bit of UK topical humour there. But anyway, so. Attributes, I feel like this should be a relatively easy one, but it's one that I wouldn't have been able to tell you this, I don't think. But let's go over attributes, starting with strength. So, what can you tell me about strength? How much health do I get from a point of strength?
20.
I know this one. 20.
Yeah, I think you should know all of these, but then I'm going to give you some harder ones. So, how much HP regeneration from 1 point of strength?
Isn't it... Ooh, I want to say 1.
1 HP regen point per strength. It can't be that.
No, it can't be that, can it?
Those are like... I don't even think it's higher than 0.1.
Oh, I'm thinking of a bracer, actually. I think a bracer gives you 1 just in itself. Or strength, I don't know that one then. 0.
Adam's right. It's not 0.1. 0.1 HP regen per strength. And obviously the damage for strength heroes. Let's move on to Agi.
Thankfully, no status resist. Thank you.
Oh god, yeah.
Dark times.
That was the worst. Some heroes got destroyed by that. Like Necro, you ult someone and then they can BKB before taking the damage because they've got stat resist. Oh, that's so nuts. Do you remember trying to go on a Tiny when he had? Didn't he have it inbuilt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just inbuilt, but also just had strength.
Yeah,
didn't even need S and Y, or I think Satanic at the time was still giving stat resist too. It's just...
And Heart gave it as well, I think, didn't it, for a while?
God. Yeah, you know what? They might have started with Heart having it back at the same time.
Nasty. Agility. What do I get from agility? I'm not even going to give you the clues. What will a point in agility get me?
You get 1 attack speed.
Attack speed.
Yep.
And
1
then
attack speed.
I think I got this wrong the last time we talked about it. I think it's down to a 1/6 of an agility now.
It is down to a 1/6 of an agility. So you get a point in armor for 6.
Or of army, that's what I mean. Of armor.
So 6 actually gives you 1 armor.
Yeah, what did I say? Did I say something else?
I said a 1/6 of an agility, but you know what I meant. A 1/6 of an armor.
I know what you meant, yeah.
That used to be... I think 1 in 7. Yeah. So now 6 agi for 1 armor.
And finally, to round out, what will a point of intelligence gain me?
20 int.
The magic amp...
Or 20 mana. Why am I getting all my things?
Yeah.
20 mana from 1 int.
No.
No?
No.
Ooh.
Not 20 mana.
Is it?
It doesn't...
30?
Sorry, go on.
I would have said 20, but is it 30?
No, it's 12. Maximum mana by 12.
Yeah, I was going to say
12.
16 after. That's so strange.
Interesting.
That explains why Crystal Maiden never has any mana ever.
Yeah.
Because she has no int gain, and even the little bit of int she gets gives her no mana pool. 12 is nothing.
Do you know the famous puppy playing OD mid against Jug? Does he call him 12 mana boy?
13 mana boy.
Ah, 13. Okay.
Yeah, I guess you have one match. You can't go below 1. And
What,
then
did it used to be 13?
I don't know. I thought maybe you'd base out at 1 mana, like you couldn't have 0 mana, and then if you add 1 in, you get the 12, so it would be 13 mana boy.
What? There's one other thing you get from a point of int.
Yeah, it's some amount of region, which there's no way that it's 0.1.
It's not 0.1 though.
Yeah, so it's probably something like 0.05 or...
It is indeed 0.05, well done.
Just to recap the int, so it used to be 15, then 14, then 14, 13. It was 13 for the longest, 5.34 to 6.87. So that's a long time in the game when it was 13 mana. And then it got reduced to 12, then to 11, and then back up to 12. So I think, historically it's mainly been 13. But now they've rounded the numbers.
I'm going to put you two to the test, and the listeners at home. You can play along and report back on the Discord if you so choose. You've got 6 questions here. I'm going to ask you the hero with the highest base of the 3, and then I'm going to ask you the hero with the highest growth of the 3. So, do you know the hero with the highest base strength in the game? And I'll give you the clue of saying that it's very surprising, or at least it's surprising to me.
Can I tell you who has the most gain?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can do both. I mean, I'm going to ask you them all, so... in fact, you just throw out any that you know.
You know, it might have changed. For the longest time, Centaur Warrunner had the highest gain.
Yeah, I think that's still the case.
And if it's not the case, I'm saying Treant Protector.
I think it is still the case.
I think they're 1-2.
I think this page is wrong that I'm looking at, to be honest with you. I don't think that Centaur Warrunner is listed here.
There was a time when his was absurd, but then they readjusted everything. They cut everything by 20%. Do you remember that? I guess when they added talents or something, they kind of redid stat growth. Okay.
Indeed, the table I was looking at was wrong. Is out of date. So you're wrong. I mean, no. Let me see. You're right. Centaur Warrunner is the highest strength gain, with 4.6, which is an awful lot of strength gain.
That's nice.
Interestingly, Skadusha has the lowest strength gain. I mean, that's why Medusa's HP pool is always really low, even later on in the game. And why an item like Scardia, I suppose. Yeah.
Even after you build all the stat items, her mana pool is way huge.
Yeah. Compared
to the HP, even though you're getting less. Now that we've learned you're getting less mana per stat than HP, it's still dwarfed by mana.
Yeah, definitely.
So I feel like it's some int hero that has the highest starting strength.
So it's not, and the actual hero with the highest strength gain, the highest base strength, is not actually a surprise. It's just that the table I was looking at before didn't list loads of heroes.
Okay.
I mean, the hero's second. So the hero was Batrider, which is the second highest base strength in the game at 28, but the hero with the most is Tiny, with 30.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Any advances on highest agi, or indeed lowest agi? I mean, lowest agi...
Highest agi, I feel fairly confident.
Okay.
The lowest agi's Tiny.
Yeah, the lowest agi is Tiny, yeah.
And then the lowest gain is... Does an Undying have 0 gain?
No.
Tiny has 0 agi gain as well.
Yeah, okay. And does Undying have 0 as well?
No, Undying has 1.2.
Huh.
Apparently. What's the base agi then, Marco? You got a
highest agi base? Terrorblade?
Nope. No, it's not.
Ooh, that's...
What? Someone's got more base armor? Oh, is there a difference between
base
armor and base agi?
TB's got crazy base armor, but not crazy base agi.
Okay, yeah.
Does TB... At one time, I think TB was the highest agi gain, though. But I don't know if... And there was a time when PL was the highest. Okay.
He still is. Agi gain, Terrorblade, 4.4. Interestingly, base Agi, this hero crushes base Agi so much higher than anyone else. He's seven Agi higher than anyone else. That's like 2 slippers. Over 2 slippers.
Whoever's the first?
Oh, 7. 7 Agi.
Yeah, so Juggernaut is number 1.
He's got
7 Agi higher. Yeah.
He has got quite a lot of... His right-click animation is good.
Yeah.
Base attack time plus a lot of agi makes for very fun last hitting.
And then there's a tie for the highest base int, and none of them are particularly surprising. Any guesses?
Gain, I'm going to say Pugna, but...
Yeah, I was thinking Pugna up there.
Yeah, Pugna is for int gain, 5.2, a whopping 5.2.
That's absurd. That is just... He's the only one with a gain of his primary stat over 5, right? Like that's...
Yes.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Troll Warlord's got 1 int gain. It's pretty funny. But base int, a very annoying hero that we seem to be playing against a lot, is first.
Tinker.
Yeah, Tinker, base int 30. Joint with Outworld Devourer and Lena.
I was going to say OD. Yeah. Lena wouldn't have said.
So, there you
I'm
go.
surprised Lena has the highest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's a little mini stat corner for you. Let's talk about this SF then. This hero's all the rage, and everyone's playing him, but they're not pressing Q, W, or E. They're just leveling passives. Is this the dream Marco carry, or are you not convinced?
I am convinced. I've done it once. I'm going to get the DotA buff up. It is as snoozy as you can get.
This is like what Marco's wanted, a new hero that has no buttons, or like one button at most. And now, this... I haven't seen... Like, I saw the very first iteration of this. I don't know if it has continued this way, but... When I was seeing it, it was you do get Raze level 1 because you want to last hit like the range creep or something. And then after that, it's no more points in it. But have they completely... Like, you don't even get Raze at all now?
Yeah, we're past that.
Yeah.
You just get 0 points in Raze, yeah.
So I did a...
But is it minus armor past the level 1? Surely it's not... Like, okay. It can't be Necromancer level 1.
Which is mega value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Dark Lord level 1. Sorry.
I did a POS 1 SF a month ago, but I wasn't up to the meta, and I did get raises for the lane in. So I've yet to do it the Omega snoozy way. But I'm excited to. I've seen it a couple times. Saw Denisha do it. Saw Gork do it. Literally level 1, level 2, if you've got a good lane partner, you right click like a monster. I think, like Adam did in this game before, you could punish the SS weakness. It seems to be common with a healer kind of backup. So you do need to have the right lane partner. I don't think it's going to work with any POS 5, or it's not going to work into any off-lane combo, but if it can work, you get Dragonlance, you right click like a monster from miles away.
Is it stats, like at level 9 and 11 on, like you're not skilling the raises secondarily?
0 raises all game.
Yeah,
it makes
sense.
4.
I mean, it's stats it ends up being like a free ultimate orb if you do 4 levels of stats, pretty much. So
yeah, you can leave Presence of the Dark Lord on 1 point as well. I've seen that done.
Yeah.
So you get Dark Lord 1, Necromastery, stats at 4, Necromastery, ult, Necromastery, and that's not maxed out, and then 8, 9, 10, 11, stats.
Yeah, because it's like, it's double Blightstone at level 1. Like, that's pretty good.
And it doesn't scale that well. It goes from 4 at level 1, 5, 6, 7, so...
Yeah, and he always, like... what does Shadow Fiend give you? Amazing projectile speed, amazing like attack animation, attack speed. And yeah, if you're just going to build him a right click, stats is probably the way to go.
Yeah,
because you need the stat points to be able to get the Necromastery stacks, because you're not going to have the Raze.
And you want the Agi and Strength really bad. You love Agi and Strength as an SF.
I've heard, discussions about that. The Raze build, you farm a lot faster. And I don't even think that's true, because a Mask of Madness on a SF, it's like you attack really fast. You're taking out stacks in the same amount of time. You're just bopping them, healing the full while they're walking back and forth. It's really not that much faster.
No, I remember playing it, and you think Raze is hard. They are so good, but they're more mana intensive now than they used to be. 90 per Raze, 270 mana for one camp. If it's mega stacked, it's omega value. But when you're going from camp to camp, it can be very inefficient to use 180 mana for a medium camp, let's say, and then you've got to finish off a little bit. And another argument is the ancients. The Razes aren't ancient friendly.
No
so
more
being
prowlers.
able to do that, no more prowlers. So I agree. Get a Mask of Madness, Power Treads, Dragonlance. You're going to be cleaning camps pretty nice.
Yeah. And that is the only staple, is it? Just the Treads, Mask, Dragonlance, and then
BKB.
Just almost always BKB, yeah. I suppose.
Do you, is it Presence affects buildings at 15?
Yes.
What's that? Because I think the other one's magic related or something.
Yeah, it's Shadow Raze damage.
Yeah, so you go attack speed at 10, and then or did they get rid of the attack speed at 10? Is it still 20?
No, 10, 25.
Oh, 25. Yeah, they got buffed, and then I've always been a fan of Presence on buildings.
Yeah,
loved that talent. It is great. That with like an AC or
AC
a Deso.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Also, the new Shard, or I don't know how new, but the Shard seems to work quite well. Quite a nice supplement. It gives you the toggle. You can toggle the Necromastery to provide a crit for the cost of 3 souls, I believe.
I think it's 1 soul.
I thought it was
is it 1 soul? Oh, you lose a soul to get a crit. So what is it, like 150 crit or something?
1 soul to deal 190% crit. 3 second CD. No, Shadow Fiend gains 2 souls per kill. You can consume 1 soul to attack 190%. That's nothing, that. 1 soul.
Yeah. No, it's really nice.
3 second cooldown seems short.
Oh, yeah, now you get 2 souls instead of 1? I didn't even see that. Like,
that seems
if you do kill
really
a creep, it's
good,
like...
Yeah. You're going to kill so many creeps at that time of the game that you're never going to notice losing 1 soul.
Yeah. No, definitely. The Shard's very, very, very
that sounds
good.
A lot better. That sounds a lot better than it was on release. I'd be surprised if that's not been buffed, because that sounds very strong. It's
definitely been changed. It used to be different. I'm pretty certain it used to be different.
The Daedalus is a 225% crit, 30% proc chance.
Yeah, so it's like a 1400 gold Daedalus.
Yeah, not much less, and it's guaranteed every 3 seconds. Tasty that, honestly. I was really keen for an SF today. Raid King probably a bit more reliable, but I'm flying into the bots and practicing a bit of right click SF. I don't know why I should do that. That sounds. I'm not actually pressing buttons. We'll see.
Yeah, so I guess they've changed Ags a little bit. Do people get it?
No, I don't think
it's not even that much of a damage item anymore. It used to give you so many more souls to where it was like a okay damage item. But now you only get 5 more max souls. So even if you get the shadow, or even if you get the damage per soul talent at 20, it's still only 25 damage extra you're getting. 35 if you include the Agi. So it's like not even that strong.
Yeah. Why is this carry SF being favoured so much? Is it not just a bad version of Terrorblade? What's the difference when you compare SF to TB? Because when I think of a ranged right clicker that just opens up and just minces people, I think of TB, and TB has really high armor and has Sunder. Is it the fact that you're not playing around meta that makes the hero better, or is it laning? Is it just Presence of the Dark Lord in laning? Like,
I mean, Requiem is a really nice spell too.
That's true. Utility Requiem, yeah.
But I think you have one of the lowest base. You might have the lowest base attack time in the game of a ranged hero.
Possibly, yeah. The Requiem is a good point. It's really frustrating to play against if you ever try and go on SF, the turn potential, and even just that, you know, you're chasing an SF of 4 heroes and you lose sight of him for a second as he goes up a ramp, and then big ult turns, right clicks one and runs off. It's like stuff like that's very common.
Yeah, I feel like the items line up really well with him. The Silver Edge is so strong. It's like a great Shadow Fiend item. Just for, you don't have to do the cheesy, like, Shadow Blade on top and Requiem. It's just, you just Silver Edge, pop out, and 2-shot of support.
Yeah, it's close. The TB shout's a good shout. TB's a lot better at... I'll say a lot better. Shadow Fiend's not bad at buildings, and then obviously the 20 talent makes it very good. But TB, yeah, with the illusions would mint buildings faster. Max TB DPS is going to be better, but yeah, reliant on meta to exist. SF can operate at all times, and then the ult's probably underrated. I think I was confused about the ult. I thought or correct me if I'm wrong, the fear from getting hit by the ult, is that always a flat 1 second, 1.5 second fear? It's not a function of how many souls you've got or how much damage you take.
It is a function of how many souls you get hit on.
Is it? So you can have a longer duration fear?
Yeah.
Yes.
I always thought it was how close you were, but I think it is how many souls you get by, because if you're just on the edge and you get tagged by like a little, just like 1 soul, you kind of just turn around and then the fear loses its effect.
Yeah.
So for each line hit, so it's 0.8 seconds up to 2.4 seconds, okay. Lines of energy are created for every soul captured. Okay, so the more you're hit by it, you're feared for longer, okay. But yeah, 0.8, even that as a minimum, even if you just get tickled by the Requiem, 0.8 in the opposite direction to a fight, if you're a support as well with important spells, that can be very useful.
Yeah. TB's an odd hero, yeah. I don't understand why the win rate's so bad. It's like Divine Immortal, 47%.
For TB? Or SF?
Yeah, for TB. TB, 47%. But it still gets picked in pros. Because I guess just TB equals picked in pros still sometimes, even when the hero's bad. I guess it farms well. It's going to farm better than an SF, probably. But, I mean, there's few heroes that farm as well as TB, I suppose. But
yeah, I feel like TB's almost a bit too AFK for pubs. That the pros pick it because they play around the TB, they play with the TB's timings, that kind of jazz. Whereas in a pub,
SF timing's faster.
Too AFK. Oh, I agree.
Well.
I agree. I think in a pub, TB can be too AFK, doesn't link with the team for 30, 40 minutes, and it never connects. SF, it isn't AFK, online faster, you just roll with the pubs.
Yeah.
I just think in a pro game, too, it comes on fast. Yeah.
And TB is like a whole strat. It's like what Marco said. It's interesting in True Sight, when people talk about picking TB, they don't say, shall we pick a TB here? They say, like, shall we do a TB strat, sort of thing. It's almost like its own thing. Yeah,
you always hear this phrase of, e.g. playing around Arteezy's Terrorblade, and it's that cornerstone of the strategy.
I will say, I didn't realize Necromastery is this way now. It used to be just a flat 2 damage a soul, but now it's 4 damage a soul at level, like at max. So you
But
have
there's
20
less souls?
You have 20 souls, but it's still 20 times 4 is 80. I think that's still more max damage.
How many souls did it used to be?
30 times 3 for 90. Or was
I don't
it?
think it was 30. I think it was
30
25.
times 2?
Well, anyways, now if you get the Necromastery talent at 20, it's 7 damage a soul instead of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you get the Ags, you get to have 5 more souls, so it's 35 more damage. Then plus 10 more damage for the Agi. So it's a 45 damage item instead of a 30. I still don't think it's good, but I didn't realize that attack damage per soul scales with each point in Necromastery.
Yeah. 7.27b. Used to be 36, and 36.
I was going to say 36.
So it'd be 72. It'd be
72.
Yeah, and at some point, so it used to died and it would cut half. Now it only cuts 40% of your souls, which is it's still like one of those heroes you kill it twice in a row and it has no game for a long time.
Yeah, but it's easier to get up to max now.
Yeah,
which it's a big difference. That 20 versus 36. Like 16 more CS before you're online. Big difference.
Yeah. Well, let's end with a brief discussion, a brief theory corner. I was thinking in my ranked game earlier today, I wonder what would happen if in your ranked games, or indeed in your normal games, but particularly in ranked perhaps, what would happen if you and your team decided to never go on the enemy side of the map? I'm not sure it would be as bad as you think. I'm not sure, and unless there's a hero dead, say, never go on the enemy side of the map unless you have a numbers advantage, literally, in the game. I actually think you'd win. I think you might win some games doing that, especially at my bracket. I don't know what your response to this theory is. I feel like people throw more than they win or more than they achieve when they journey onto the enemy side of the map. And this thought was triggered by, like I said, my game earlier, where our team had just got a kill bottom from them diving. They dived maybe like 3 heroes for no, not that much, just 2 heroes actually. And I TP'd with Travels on Viper. We cleaned up. I thought, great, that was such a dumb dive under their tower. We will just TP and kill them. I don't know what they were thinking. They got baited by seeing one of our heroes low HP. And then I look at the other side of the map, and my Troll Warlord carry has crossed the river mid to try and clear a wave, and has gotten gripped by a Bane who's like under his own tier 1. And Troll dies, and I'm thinking, man, all of our efforts getting this little skirmish bot have just been ruined by our carry dying again because he's gone onto the other side of the map. And I thought, man, in fact, I even said on the mic to Troll, I was like, just farm safely, stay on our side of the map. I don't think go over to never across the river. And indeed, it was better. We just chilled out and won and reacted to their throws rather than making them ourselves. Do you have anything to say on this theory? Never cross the map?
Okay, the only thing I have to say is, what about the laning stage? Because if you're off lane, you kind of have to cross the map to just be able to lane.
Yeah. Okay, we'll allow the laning stage. That's fine. Post laning, just chill out, let them throw, and then win. Dota is a game of throws.
I think it's definitely exercise in patience. There's certain times where people just can't play the patience game, and they will get bored or try and make something happen. I think if you do this don't cross the river strat, inevitably they will 5-man smoke and walk up a high ground into you.
and then you wipe them, yeah.
Yeah.
The only problem is like pushing towers, the classic, they're 5-manning your safe lane tower, and then you should probably 5-man their tower. You're technically on their side of the map, but I think it's reasonable. I do think, obviously, in some situations, it's a terrible idea. I mean, all situations. If Dota's played optimally, it's a terrible idea, but as a sort of exercise in patience. Our game earlier, if you're against Tinker and an AM, then you're going to want to go onto their side of the map to pressure, but I think in the majority of games, well, would I say a majority? Certainly more games than you would think. Just be patient and let them throw into you, play safe, and win. If you saw... Sorry, go on.
The patience point, just before you lose it, it's not even just matters of minutes, or the magnitudes of minutes that we're talking patience, like, oh, let's wait 5 minutes, or for a later timing, or... It often is seconds, like 20 seconds of, I can't connect for 20 seconds, please don't go for 20 seconds, or BKB is coming online in 20, or Ravage is ready in 20. Even when it gets to that fine margins, you still have players like Adam says who are impatient, want to do something, want to go, and it's critically bad.
Yeah.
And the other point, this idea of not crossing the map, if the whole team's on board with the idea, so are we taking this as an implicit assumption? The whole team is on board with the idea. If that's the case, realistically, very unlikely, obviously. If they did do that, I think, assuming they didn't have dog heroes, I agree that yes, you will eventually win more than you would lose in pubs up to a certain level.
Presumably, under the assumption that you're not critically outscaled.
Yeah, you're not like Rubik, Pugner, loads of interiors. If you've got some balanced draft,
you've got a carry that's going to be able to carry.
Got a pos 3, got a pos. I think there is some truth there that not crossing the river probably goes your favour. It's grim as long as everyone's on the right page.
Yeah,
because pubs are so bad at throwing and winning and executing. It's probably truth there.
Yeah, for sure. So, there you go, that's my theory. Come and disagree with me on the Discord. I'd love to hear all the reasons why I'm wrong. That's not even sarcastic, I actually would. But, until next week, have a good time playing some Dotes, and have a final whistle.